What's up, systems thinkers? Sophia here, or Sophia's hands here, with some fresh new press-on nails. It's the first time I've ever done press-on nails, so I got dressed for you. Today, what we're going to be talking about is how and why to practice OUX and systems design. I'm going to be introducing you to actually, this is a legacy version of my card game. We've got a new version coming out with updated colors and fonts. It's basically the same thing, but this has been off the market for a while. And the reason I'm bringing it back up is because one, this is one of my favorite books. This book, Badass Making Users Awesome by Kathy Sierra. It is a book about learning. I mean, it's a user experience design book, but it is really a book about how to teach and how to learn. This piece here is so important. I'm not going to go into a lot of depth on it, but basically what Kathy Sierra is showing here is that if you're going to have skills that you can't do, skills that you can do with effort, and skills that you've mastered. And what you want is like a nice progressive flow through here. And what you don't want is what she has over here, where you have like a lot of stuff that you can do with effort, but there's just too much stuff you can do with effort and not enough stuff that you've actually mastered. So you want to kind of nicely flow through this. A lot of my OUX teaching is based on this, but I still haven't felt like I've really cracked the code on how to practice OUX and make sure you're practicing at the skill level that's good for you. Now, I have been reading this book. I'm not actually done with it yet, but oh my gosh, I'm taking a lot of notes. This book is absolutely amazing. This was written in 1990. It is really basically a research study. This guy, Mihail Csikszentmihalyi, I think I did not pronounce that correct, but he did a multi-decade longitudinal study on thousands and thousands of people. Then people recreated his study, and basically it's on how to achieve a flow state. And one thing that I found out through reading it, or that I was really happy to realize when I was reading it, is how much the ORCA process helps us achieve a flow state. So I'm not going to get into all of that, but one thing that I realized is we need more ways to practice. So what I'm going to do here, what you're going to get out of this video is you're going to get a demo of OUX through these funky little cards. And also this is going to show you how you can use this game. If you have a copy, that's amazing. If you want to get on the wait list for a copy, I'll have a link down below for the new version. You can practice with this deck, or you can always create your own. When I was creating prototypes of this, I just had colored paper. You can cut out little cards with the colored paper and you can make your own deck for sure. So you don't have to buy my deck. You can make your own little OUXy practice deck based on what you see here. Okay, so what we're gonna do here, so this is a game that is it's a 2 to 4 player game. You can play it competitively, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna play basically a solitaire version of Crosslinked, and I might be renaming it. I might call it There's an App for That. I love this game so much, and I just feel so bad that I've neglected it for so long, but we will be resurfacing it very soon. So get on the wait list if you want a copy. Okay, so if you do have the deck, you can get rid of these cards. These are just for when you're playing with a partner and playing competitively, but we're, like I said, playing a game of solitaire here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my people cards, I'm gonna shuffle them, I'm gonna shuffle I have no idea what's gonna happen here. I am just gonna show you how I would think through something, and then my thing cards. And what these are is these are our object cards. And when we play this game, we're gonna have a 3 object system. So this is great for practice, great for when you're just getting started or when you're a seasoned OUXer. So we have really a Mad Lib style fill in the blank here. People create content about things for. So of course there's lots of different apps out there in the world that do not follow this formula. This is just a nice repeatable formula to help give us practice in system design. So I'm just gonna grab the top one. Okay, we got people, we got students and kids. So this entire deck you can see is just different types of people. I'm gonna set that aside. So we're gonna work on students/kids are basically our main user type. They're gonna create, let me keep this here so you can see the little Mad Libs. They're gonna create content about reviews. So students or kids are gonna create reviews about, what are they gonna create reviews about? Articles of clothing. Okay, so this is kids creating reviews about articles of clothing. So kid-friendly clothes. It's going to be, let's say that these are teenagers. I don't like the idea of really young kids being online. So let's say this is teenagers creating reviews about articles of clothing. So it's like a teen review site. Okay, easy peasy. And honestly, I have never drawn 3 cards that I couldn't think of something for. So this is as good as any. The one that I did this morning before I did this video, I had artists create complaints about transit stations, and I created this entire world about Basically, a complaint was like a proposal for ugly transit stations on how they would beautify the transit station. And there was voting on these complaints/proposals. It was this whole world that I played around with. Okay, so I'm going to put these aside so we just have a little bit more room. So I have my objects, and all I'm going to do here is I'm going to shuffle my element cards. We basically have core content, metadata, nested objects, which are the tricky ones, and calls to action. So we've got our O's, the R's. Let me just show you what these look like. This is an R right here. This is a relationship card. And basically you continue to fill in the blanks. Since it's got the purple triangle at the top, I can only put it on the purple triangle. And this would read an article of clothing has many articles of clothing that are similar to it. That would be a recursive relationship. And then we have ones like a review. So I'm filling in the blank here. Now, if this was a complaint, I would read it as a complaint. A review links to the student who created it. Or in my previous exercise, a complaint links to the artist that created it. So that's going to be a has-one relationship, a really important one. Now, we're not going to worry about the points down here because we're playing solitaire, but when you're playing competitively, you get points for different types of relationships. So that's what the relationship cards look like. And then we're going to have also metadata on pink, of course, core content on yellow. And then we've got our CTA cards too. So we have the O's, the R's, the C's, and the A's. The A's being the attributes, if you're new to the ORCA process, which are pink and yellow guys. So basically what I like to say is every system has an ORCA. They all have objects, relationships, CTAs, and attributes. If you want to think about CTAs as capabilities, you can do that as well. And this is just helping us think in those components of a system instead of thinking in UI components. Okay, so since I'm playing solitaire, I'm just going to shuffle these and I'm just going to start drawing them. I'm just going to kind of try to go fast and think through where would I put this particular element or does it not belong on here at all? Okay. An article of clothing links to many articles of clothing. Yeah, I definitely would want some recursive linking there. That totally makes sense. So I'll go ahead and add that there. Title and name. Everything needs a title and name. You can see the little required. It's the only required thing. We need some sort of unique identifier on each. So I'm just going to go ahead and place that under the student. Oh, another title and name. Let's give that to the review. Even though reviews don't really need titles. So I'll give that to the article of clothing. I might actually break my own rule here and just have a description. There's a description. Amazing. I swear I shuffled these. Okay, so there's the actual body copy of the review. So far it's pretty straightforward. Okay, RSVP. So RSVP, I don't have anything like an event object here. So RSVP is totally not going to make sense. So basically this is pretty easy right now, but it's going to accelerate. We'll get some cards that we're going to really have to think about. And what I'm doing is I am practicing my ability to structure content and to also use judgment here to say, okay, does this actually make sense on any of these objects in this make-believe system that I've created? Okay, another title and name. No, I don't want it. I'm going to just say that this is the title and this is the unique identifier. We'll have a back-end unique identifier, but just like most reviews and like posts or something, that we don't always need a title. So I'm going to cheat and not put a title name there. Another description. Okay, so we're going to pull that description from the article of clothing. And I do want to start thinking about, like, I can start asking myself some OOUX questions, like, where is this description going to come from? Okay, so are we pulling this in from an API? Is this auto-generated? So potentially, if I have a lot of reviews on the article of clothing, I might want this to be an AI summary, actually. So that would make sense. So I'm starting to think about the source of this. I can do a little bit of storytelling around this as I'm kind of going through. So yeah, AI summary based on all the reviews. Now, I haven't linked the reviews yet, but I know I'm going to want that. So I can go ahead and think through kind of how that description is generated. Again, is it coming through an API, or is it I could even say the first student to review that article of clothing, they write the description, but probably an AI summary is going to make the most sense. Okay, and this is right here. Now take a moment. Where would I put this card? How would I read this card? So pause the video if you need to. So you're doing a little bit of pattern matching here. And once you learn this is a way that you can practice OUX, get better at OUX, which is getting better at system design while getting into a flow state. And this is so fun. This is just like a little puzzle. Okay, this is an article of clothing, links to all the reviews about it. An article of clothing, little triangle, links to all the reviews about it. Okay, so if you're creating your own deck, this is going to be the trickiest one to make on your own, but just play with some shapes. Easy. Circles, squares, and triangles. All right, so I'm going to put this here. Now, I don't want to put it here. I don't want to put it here. It's not going to make sense here. You've got to match it with the little top bit in the black. Okay. Boop, boop, boop. So now I have an article clothing links to all the reviews that are about it. Totally makes sense. Amazing. Follow. Do we want, because following, I don't want students really to be followed. I don't want this to be a social network, but following an article of clothing might be kind of cool so that you could get alerted to when new reviews are posted. Okay, so I'm going to pop this over here and I'm going to kind of just make us some room here. Okay, how does that look? Cool. All right, a review links to the article of clothing that it's about. Yes, I definitely want this. And I definitely want this has one relationship. Now, somewhere in the deck, let me find it for you, actually. Let me find you what you don't want to do for this particular situation. Now, some situations you would want this card. Okay, it might take me a second to find this. Here we go. Okay, no, that's not the right card. Okay, so this is the has one, a review links to the single article of clothing that it's about versus a review links to the multiple article of clothing that feature it. Now, sometimes I'm going to want to create a piece of content that's about multiple things. In this case, I want a review to be about a single article of clothing. So I'm going to just go ahead and discard that. I know I don't want that one for this system. All right, do you see how I'm exercising? I'm exercising thought, thinking about cardinality here. I'm exercising storytelling. I am exercising system design. Okay, a review linked to the student who created it. Yes, usually this middle one, you're gonna want those two has ones. Not always, but usually. And usually you don't want a review that links to the multiple people who created it. I don't even know if I have that in the deck. I don't even know if that exists. Okay. Description. Okay, maybe we have a little bio for the student. You know what? Instead of a bio, this is going to be the student's preferences. I'm thinking about how we can match students to articles of clothing. So this is where they might write, this is almost like a prompt that they could write in to say, this is my style. This is where I want to go with my style. This is what I like, what I don't like. Now we could do that in the past. We would do that with a bunch of metadata, right? But now we can use natural language because we know that AI is going to be all looped around here. And I can say, okay, when we do some recommendations, I want to be thinking about that when I start eventually get some metadata on the board. How can the system match students to articles of clothing? But I'm going to say that this is not really a bio. This is like their fashion mission. Okay, so do you see how I'm storytelling. I'm thinking, okay, I've got a free text field here, basically. What makes the most sense to be in that? Okay, price. Where would you put price? On the article of clothing. That's where that's going to make the most sense. That's pretty self-explanatory. Date and time. Okay, we want that on the review, right? That's going to make the most sense there. A student links to all the reviews that they've created. Boom. Okay. What about that one? That's our no, right? We've already said no to that one. Okay, a student links to students that are similar. Again, I don't really want this to be a social network. I don't think that that makes sense at all. But could it be cool if we have students who have very, very similar fashion goals? Could the system match you and say, hey, here's some teenagers in your area, or maybe not even in your area, I would need a location metadata for that have similar styles to you, and maybe you want to check out their reviews. Okay, I'm going to put that in there for now. That is something interesting that I can play with. So what I'm doing now is anything that kind of I think that might sound good, I'm going to go ahead and put it down. Later on, we can go through a prioritization exercise, which is another great way to practice strategy. Okay, the same one, little bit. I swear I shuffled. Okay, video. Oh, I mean, as part of the review, yeah, that makes sense there. Okay, category. So article of clothing, right, is going to make the most sense. Pants, shirts, dresses. You really want that on the article of clothing. And I'm not just saying category is going to go on article of clothing. I'm thinking of values of that category. Now, if I get another category card, I might actually go ahead and make a subcategory and say, okay, we have pants and then we have dress pants versus blah, blah, blah. So I can start thinking about a little bit about taxonomy here. Okay, an image of the article of clothing. Now, where is that going to come from? Is that going to come from an API, some sort of external link? So probably from the brand's website, we would want to pull the image, and the price would come from there as well, likely the category too. So we can pull that in, or the category we might have our own taxonomy, and the category might be derived from the AI. I could do that probably. Okay. An article of do I already have this one? An article of clothing links to the, So we have repeats in here, which is great when you're playing with multiple players. You can just discard those. Or you can add them for 2 different ways that they could connect. So you could say an article of clothing links to all the reviews about them that are positive, and an article of clothing links to all the reviews about it that are negative. And do we want like kind of that separated into two different banks? Probably we'll just have a sort and filter there. That's another thing I can start thinking about that we talk about during the requirements round of the ORCA process. We talk about my cat saving fire department, which stands for the mechanics. Okay, how do these things connect? The cardinality, okay, we're covering that here. We can also go into more detail with the cardinality, like how many do we expect to see here for a article of clothing that links to similar articles of clothing that it's about. Okay, are we gonna just do the top 5? And also one thing I didn't talk about is, what does similar mean? That's an up level of thinking as well here. Instead of saying just an article of clothing is going to link to articles of clothing that are similar to it, is it just linking to other pants? So I could just do it. So I can start thinking about similarity by looking at my metadata, so category and price. But I can also say, what about the description? Because with AI on our side, we can say, okay, look at the description. And based on the description that is derived from all of the reviews about it. Okay, so we're gonna have a bunch of reviews. We're gonna derive a high level description about it. And then what we're gonna do is, based on that description, we're going to link to other articles of clothing that if you like this article of clothing, you might like these. Okay, totally skipped over that, but you wanna dig into that level of storytelling here and really thinking through what's gonna make sense, because that's what we wanna do as user experience designers, full stop anyway. Okay, so article of clothing, do I want both of these in here? Okay, mechanics, cardinality. Okay, how many might we have? So I can say it's gonna link to the top 3 to 5. We're gonna expect maybe hundreds to thousands of reviews about a single article of clothing because we're gonna be super successful. Do I want any sorts and filters? So my cat saving fire department, I'll get to D in a second. So what kind of sorts and filters? Do I just want positive versus negative reviews? Do I want them in kind of 2 separate banks, or is it just going to be a sort and filter there? And then finally, dependency is something that I can think about too. And I can say, okay, if this article of clothing for some reason gets removed, like let's say it's not available anymore, you can't buy it anymore, it's been taken off the market, what happens to all the reviews about it? Do we not let you create additional reviews? Well, maybe somebody still has that article of clothing, maybe it shows up on Poshmark, so I think that we probably keep it. So that's where we think about the D of my cat saving fire department. So when you get any of these nested objects, you can kind of go through mechanics, cardinality, so cardinality details, sorts, filters, groupings, even that's the kind of the secret, my cat saving German fire department. And then D is the dependency. Okay, I'm just gonna put that one aside for right now. All right, follow, we already have follow on the article of clothing. Well, if we have no links to other students, do you wanna follow them? It's turning into a social network, isn't it? Even though I don't want it to. But now it kind of makes sense because it's like, maybe it's a way to like meet other teens who have a similar style to you. If you have a similar style, maybe you're gonna like each other. All right, okay, we'll add a follow there for right now. We already have similar, but I can do another similarity if that's gonna be based on the description. Maybe this is just other pants of the same price. So we have 2 banks of similarity. Okay, cool. Title and name. Okay, I need to probably, in my redesign, make this or unique ID. I'm gonna write that down real quick. Unique ID. You can decide. So I'm gonna give the review a unique ID because everything needs some sort of unique ID. Okay, they're probably all gonna have unique IDs in the background, but even on the front end, we probably want to have some little unique ID. Okay, so popularity. Well, I mean, if you have a bunch of reviews and we have a description, we probably would want to, and does the review actually have some sort of star rating on it? Okay, so we'll add popularity to the article of clothing. Oop, can you see that? That's it. We got to scoot up. Scoot up. So fun. So fun. All right. Description. We have a description for everything, but again, we can add another one if we're like, do we want a bio now? So we have this description, which is going to be one text box of like their fashion mission. Do we also have a little bio? Now, the way that I'm playing here, I'm just adding anything that might make sense. When you play competitively, you have a limit. You can only put 10 per object on there. So you have to be a little bit more discerning. But right now we're just practicing here. 360 image. I mean, we could say that for the review, but this is really, I'm going to put that aside. It's not really a thing that probably teenagers are going to figure out how to do. Maybe they already have. Who knows? Who knows what they're doing? Okay, favorite. I can follow an article of clothing. Do I also want to favorite an article of clothing? like to bookmark it to come back to? Probably, yeah. I also have, oh, I'm doing it the opposite way. It doesn't really matter, I guess. Okay, category. I mean, I could put that in the review, but that doesn't really make sense. And I could put a subcategory. So maybe I have a subcategory. So I'll just kind of squeeze that in there because we want to have like I talked about before, shirts. Now, it might not even be a subcategory. They might be kind of just a completely different taxonomy. So this might be whether it's formal or casual. There's so many different ways you can categorize clothes, right? So it's got me thinking here. This is going to be just pants, shirts, dresses, right? Like what type of clothing it is. And then this category, I think I would go like formal, casual, like for school versus weekend. Would need to play around with what would make sense, but basically like context, I guess. I'm just going to stick it right there. All right. Image. I guess for the review, you'd want a video or an image. All right. A video, another video. No, we don't need that right now. We already have that one. That's a repeat. Popularity. I mean, we could have a popularity of the review. If somebody can like the review, you might want to show reviews that have been said as helpful. Definitely don't want popularity on the student, but if your review seems to be really helpful, that would be good. Now, what I really need now is I need a CTA on this to be able to drive popularity. Now, we could infer it through views, but I probably want some way for students to give feedback on the review. Buy/donate. Do we want the buy button? Buy right here on the article of clothing. This might just be an external link, but if we can integrate buying directly on the site, that would be great. So I can even think about like, okay, what would that take? Or are we just playing an affiliate game here where we pull the article of clothing in and we can kind of get some sort of commission if we send people to that site. So I'm thinking a little bit about the business strategy here, playing that game. Bookmarking. Okay, bookmarking. I really need an up and down vote. I don't think I have an up and down vote. Oh, I even added it. Need up and down vote. Yeah, I'm going to add that to the new deck, but I would put that under, no, I don't want bookmarking. Okay. Location doesn't make sense. No, we don't want that on students. Description I already have. A review links to other reviews that are similar to it. Okay, let's play that game of similarity. So what do we mean by similar? Is it that two things you can think about are these has one relationships. So it's just other reviews of the same article of clothing. So here you're looking at this review of this Zara dress or whatever, and then here's other reviews of the same Zara dress. Or I could also say this is linking to other reviews from the same student. So what would make more sense to you? So, okay, I'm just exercising this silly little design challenge. I'm exercising my judgment, my design thinking. Okay, I think it would make the most sense. And we can also look at the metadata, of course. So, and we can have a combination as well for what does it mean to be similar? What would make sense in this world? I mean, I think it would make sense to just show other reviews of the same article of clothing, maybe sorted by popularity, like maybe popularity and recency, like the most, like reviews that are shown as being helpful that are recent, that are about the same article of clothing. That's what I would show there. Fun. Another popularity card. I don't want that on students. Okay, we already have that one, and I don't want another version of it. Title name, we've got that. Okay, status. Do I want to play with status at all? I mean, we could have a status in the article of clothing. That could be like whether it's available right now. Like, can you buy it new or not? Or is it only available used? Like, is it actually in production? That would be good to have. How would we get that information? That would be a tough one. I think it might be a tough one. That might be something that we could probably design an AI workflow to get that information. I mean, I know the other object that I want here is like, especially from like Poshmark or eBay, other like use like, what is the ThreadUp, to actually have instances. I have another object that there's like the article of clothing. This would be a little tree system if you're familiar with tree systems. Just kind of an advanced OUX concept to have like the article of clothing and the article of clothing actual would be another object that would be like, this is where you can actually buy it. The price would move to that object, right? And then the status would maybe move to that object. But I'm going to add this here for like, can you buy it new or not? And brand is another thing that I need, don't I? I need brand. So that might be actually better for one of my categories to just say brand. That's probably what I need, is I need brand way more than I need like occasion. Okay, location, don't need. And I'm just going to go through all of them. Get directions, don't need. Title name, don't need. Comment. This can be a way that we determine popularity. So if we can comment on the review to say like whether questions are asked, and basically we can, with the comment, which comment is technically another object, right? But we have a comment. Once we have a comment CTA, we're going to have a comment object. The same way once we have a by CTA, we're going to have an order object. So we got some hidden objects in here. But comment, that could determine the popularity. If we create a little bit of an algorithm there to say, let's look at the contents of the comment to say how much this is helping people. Image with flyouts. Like that would be really cool for the review too. So I'm going to like put it like can you do a video, you can do just a plain image, or you can do an image with like, you can have little flyouts and you can say like, I really like this part of it, but this part over here, it's itchy right here or something. That's fun. Okay, title name, we already have that. Title name, we already got that. Description, we already got that. We've been needing, we already got that. We're good. We're good there. Date and time, do I need another date and time? I mean, I could have like last logged in, but yeah. Number. So number is an interesting one. So number could be like number of star rating. So star rating is a 1. I should probably have a separate one for star rating, but you could do it for like a scale of 1 to 5. So that's probably, I would want that on the review. You can also use number for a count. So sometimes you want to show a count of your nested objects. So for this article of clothing, here's all the reviews, but we want to show the number that this article of clothing has 675 reviews, right? So, or this student has created 50 reviews. So it can count the number of related object instances. I'm going to put that there as a star rating. I'm doing a little bit, this is also going to be a little bit of a memory exercise because when I go through to prioritize this, which I am, I need to remember what story did I tell about each of these pieces of metadata. All right, we got price, we already got that. We already got that one. Comment, I don't need a comment on the article of clothing because that's going to be the review. Hashtags. We might want that one on the review. And then favorite. Can I just favorite a review? Yeah, I want to be able to favorite a review too, just to say it's helpful without putting a comment on there. Now what I can do here, there's 2 exercises that I can do now that I've got like a nice shape of this system. And I can go through, you know what I don't have on the students? I don't have any metadata, which is okay right now with me because basically you want to have metadata to be able to filter and sort the thing. I don't feel like people are going to be seeking out students and kids. Like I feel like this fine to have students that are similar and we can just do it derived through the description. That's okay. I don't need any explicit metadata. I'm fine with that. Okay. So what I can do now is when I can do some sketching with sticky notes, I can just say, all right, where do these things go? So students that are similar to this student, I'm going to put this at the bottom. And I might also add some additional requirements and say, this is only going to show on your profile. So only when a student is looking at themselves would they see, here's some other people that you might want to look at. If you go look at them, maybe you don't see other similarities because that just feels like a little bit of a rabbit hole. I could debate that either way, but I think this is just going to show for the student that's looking at themselves. Okay, I'm going to put the follow button kind of at the top. We got title, description, maybe just show all the reviews that they've created. And then you have like your fashion goals / mission and your bio. And then if you scroll down, you'll see like other people that are on the same page as you. Okay, and now review, you have the description. Now I kind of want to show the person and the article of clothing that it's, so the article of clothing I think needs to be at the top. So this is a review about this. It's kind of like the title by this person. Here's the actual review. Oh, I probably want the number of stars would go above it. And then the actual review, we can put the timestamp at the media. I'm just going to stack all those up. I'm going to put image with flyouts at the top. And that would go there. Then with the description, hashtags would kind of go into the description as well. Then we have the unique ID. We don't really care about that. Might even be back end. Comments at the bottom. The CTA is going to be next to the comments. So we probably want that at the bottom. Can you see that comment? There we go. Put that all the way at the bottom. Favorite at the top. Oh, you can't see that anymore. It's too much. And then I have a review links to other reviews that are similar to it. Even below the comments, the date and time and the popularity, I'm going to put it like that. I'm just going a little bit fast here, but this is something you can really play around with, is sort of sketch out how a user might see all these bits and pieces. So I'm kind of proto wireframing here, but just by just by forced ranking here. Okay, so then I can look at my article of clothing. There's the title. The description is probably going to be farther down. I want the title, likely brand, and then what it actually is. That might be kind of self-explanatory. The status, whether it's available or not. Yep. And then price. Do we have an image? Yeah, image probably needs to go up to the top. And then we have, let's see. Okay, and then we have follow. Okay, I'll just put that up at the top. Favorite can go next to it. Trust me, they're there. Buy and donate. I'm going to put all those CTAs together. And then we've got additional categorization. I've got popularity, but how am I deriving that? Just based on number of follows? Maybe I'll like kind of put that with the follow. So it could be like just number of followers, and I want to put that with the button. Okay, description, all the reviews about it, and then, sorry, that keeps blurring on you. And then, oh, no, all the reviews about it, and then our recursive linking back to additional articles of clothing. Now, the next thing I can do if I want to keep exercising here is I can do some elimination too. And you can do this in either way. You can eliminate and then you can kind of sketch with your sticky notes, or you can sketch with your sticky notes and then you can eliminate. So in the ORCA process under prioritization, we call this phasing and then ranking. And ideally in the real world, you're going to want to phase it out first and then just rank what's left. So just rank what's in your phase one, because that's what you're going to want to create a prototype for. So, but I did it the opposite way here, which is totally fine because we're playing here. So I'm just going to go through and I'm just going to eliminate some things that like would not be in a first release. So students following students, no. Probably students linking to other students. No, maybe even the bio. But when people sign up, we wanted them to go ahead and get that. And that's relatively easy. So let's make that simple. Okay, reviews, we need that cross-linking there. We want the review, but we can say, all right, it's just going to be an image or a video. The image with the flyouts will come later. We do want the actual description of it. And hashtags, sure, we can add hashtags in there. But you know what? No, making it too complicated. Let's see, when it happened, when the review was created, we still want that. Unique ID, sure. Linking to other reviews that are similar about the same article of clothing, right? What did I say? That memory exercise here, which is also a great thing to be exercising because everything that we have around us is saying that we don't need memory and we are not having to remember anything anymore. So I said, I think I want it to be about the article of clothing and show similar reviews that are recent, right? And also popular. But do I want popularity based on comments? No, that's going to be phase 2. And then we have our unique ID. Okay, so following an article of clothing, no. But favoriting, sure. Buying is definitely going to be phase 2. Title and name, image, yes, we want that. Categories, the status of it right now. Again, like this would be something that would be really interesting to collaborate on. So if you could even be playing solitaire. I guess it wouldn't be solitaire. You could be doing this with a developer or doing this with somebody else on your team. Now, of course, then you might want to actually play it as a game with the points and everything, or you could just work together on something and have these discussions. Status feels like something that it might be a little bit more of a level of effort in figuring that out. So I'm going to pop that over to the discard pile. All right. We've got the description of the article of clothing based on the reviews. I do want to keep that in. We need to show the reviews. Cross-linking to other articles of clothing that are similar to it based on the description. I do love that. And then I had another thing that I did forget. I forgot what I said about this other way that it would link in similarity. But let's do the other. So you might like this, and we will pull in a little AI magic here to show us things based on the description. Maybe the description, the category, the price, and the brand. It would take all of that into consideration to show us similar articles of clothing. Okay, that was a great practice session for me to exercise my thinking in doing OUX and thinking in objects and thinking in data and deciding what data, how we should shape this system just in a little 3-object system. So go ahead, get yourself on the wait list if you want to get your own deck and get our updated version of the deck, or just get yourself some nice colored paper and make your own so that you can practice this type of thinking at home and just get into that beautiful flow state and have fun with it so that when you go into much more complicated situations at work, you put the reps in.